Hello everyone, Tokyo Cyclist here. It's been a while since I have uploaded a video on my channel, and there are several reasons behind that. Partly it's laziness. Basically, I would just take out my bike and just ride without really thinking much about what's happening. But of course, I do on occasion want to film my rides, and first of all, I do appreciate my subscribers, for subscribing to my channel, even though at this point it's only 40 plus subscribers, but it still means I still have an audience, and I'm assuming that a portion of you are actually watching my videos. So first of all, thank you for all of you who have subscribed to my channel. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Now, I would like to put some context into this vlog. And in Japan, it's not like as if compared to other Western countries, we were restricted to go out during the lockdown season. It wasn't really a lockdown. It's more like voluntary restraint, and it's more to do with the Japanese culture of shame, where if you did go out and did not pay attention to the warnings from the government, then people would look down upon you. They would frown on you. But basically, there were no penalties for actually going out. Whereas in Western countries, I think they have this culture of sin, where if you disobey the stay-at-home orders, you do get some form of punishment, right? But that's not the case here in Japan. But of course, I try my best to stay at home as much as I can and do my part in maintaining the health of the society, I guess. But of course, that didn't really prevent me from taking out my bike and cycle around. Actually, they did encourage us to actually exercise, right, occasionally. So where I am riding right now is alongside the Tsurumigawa, and I think many of you have seen my previous videos. I've shown you some of the scenery around this area, and this is basically my local bike path, the one that I take almost every other time I take up my bike. And it's a beautiful day outside today, and I'm very, very lucky to actually live very, very close to the river, and so therefore I don't have to cycle a long distance to get here. And during the lockdown, I guess it was very, very, very convenient, because there's a lot of space here, right? If I lived in Tokyo, then the likelihood of being with other people, it's a lot more difficult to adopt the social distancing measures. But here, yes, I could just hop on my bike, cycle for not even a kilometer, and just get to the nearest point of the river. Gosh, it's a beautiful day outside. Another thing I want to talk about today in this video is that for those of you who have seen my previous videos, the way I am filming this is different. And before, I used to put my GoPro under my handlebars, and I use a GoPro 8, and it has the latest technology with the stabilization. And even with that technology, it wasn't very great. Every time, and there's a lot of swerving going on every time I turn left or right. I think those movements are so drastic that the camera can't counteract those movements very, very well. So a lot of the footage that I had before was extremely shaky, and I apologize for that. I'm actually very, very surprised that some of you subscribe to my channel even with that kind of content. But this time, I decided to get the chesty, the chest mount, where you can put your GoPro on your chest. And well, that sounds obvious, but I hope that putting the GoPro on my chest would absorb a little bit more of the movement and the vibrations. And the reason why, and I don't even know how this footage is going to look like. This is the first time I use this chest mount. But I hope that together with my body, I feel that my body itself would absorb much of the vibration, and I don't think my body would swerve or move as much as my handlebars would do if I were to steer my bike. Okay everyone, so we're still along the Tsurumi Gawa, or the Tsurumi River, and up ahead you can see Nissan Stadium. That is the home of the Yokohama Marinos soccer team. And unfortunately, I don't know whether there are any matches right now. But even if there were any matches, it would be without any audience. Now, just yesterday, I believe the baseball games started, but of course without the spectators. So yes, we're not back to full normality, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So you notice that as I ride, there's a lot of other cyclists around. And yes, it is a very, very popular route for cyclists. Actually, on the east side, there's another river called the Gar River, which I think many of you have seen in my videos. That is another popular bike path, or popular route. And eventually I'll go back there and film again and show you some of the nice parts of that route. So you can see that it's very crowded now. It's a beautiful day, and everyone is just taking this opportunity to go outside and enjoy this amazing, amazing day. You can tell that it rained last night, and as many of you know, I ride a Cannondale Cat 12. It's not exactly made for gravel, and right now I am using 25mm tires, GP4000s, and it does pretty hold up well. I always go through this route, and I've had a puncture yet. Fingers crossed. And again, I'm saying this, I'm repeating myself, but yes, it's a beautiful day. It's raining for the past 3 weeks. No, sorry, the past 3 days. And it is the rainy season now. All right, let's do some sprinting. Again, when you do this, you really have to be careful, because even there's all this open space, you really don't want to hit anyone or crash into anyone. But also, I'm planning to at least ride for 2 hours today, and you don't want to expel all of that energy and waste that energy. Right now, according to my power meter, there's 400 watts. I won't be able to sustain that for that long. So let's slow down a little bit. And under we go. Watch out for incoming cyclists. And up we go. How can they carry all that stuff? I mean, what, he's in his 70s? I don't know, maybe aluminum cans are light, but I don't think I would be able to have that on my back. You know, one of the nice things about being a cyclist is people say hi. You know, even though we don't know each other, you know, we do have a sense of community. And that's why cycling is so enjoyable, because anyone can do it. Gosh, it's a beautiful day. Life is awesome. Now, I'll definitely explain this in a future video, but cycling is an excellent way to de-stress. I mean, obviously, the exercise, I mean, there's no downsides to exercises, right? But there must be some kind of psychological effect in seeing all this green, and of course taking this, you know, larger amounts of oxygen, right? Just makes you happy. So I do hope that this video will motivate you, not only just to go outside and ride, but just motivation in general. And again, just to put this into context, yeah, the world is not in a very good place right now. There's a lot of, don't use the S word there, but try to refrain myself there. There's a lot of stuff going on in this world that, yeah, sometimes you wonder whether this world is going to blow up. But, I mean, I guess we have to get the best out of everything that we have. So now we're getting close to a train station. I forgot what the name of the station is, but this area is very popular for cherry blossom viewing. And if you remember the video that I uploaded, well, many weeks ago by now, I did take some videos on the cherry blossoms, and this is one of them. This is one of the locations. So for those of you who live in Japan and you happen to live nearby here, and take a look. So let me give you some more information about this bike path, or in Japanese we call it the cycling road, or cycling road, as we would say in Japanese. So we are in Kanagawa Prefecture, which is west of Tokyo. And yes, it has a lot of residential areas. For those of you who know Yokohama is also located in Kanagawa Prefecture. And like I said, there's a lot of residential areas here. You can see a lot of apartments and a lot of families living here. We have Little League, I guess that's what they call it in the US. I don't know what's called in Japan. But yes, it's a wonderful place to live. It is a break from the crowds in Tokyo. So I'm taking a break here right now, and I'm just watching this koi fish. Now they're kind of gathering up all towards me because they think that I have some food, but I don't, so I'm sorry. But I don't know how they can see me. It's a good 5 meters down there. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so right now we are on farmland. So one of the nice things about these cycling roads is that there's so much scenery to look at. Just before, as I explained, we just passed through residential areas, and now it's just farmland. Take a look. Beautiful day. So I'm just taking another break and just showing you some of the scenery around. Actually, I don't really know exactly where I am, but again, it's a great view, right? You can see a temple on the other side of the river and a cemetery. And this is my Cat 12. And many of you have watched my introduction to this bike, and it's an amazing bike. Gosh, it's a beautiful day. I forgot to mention that I'm on a different river right now. This river is called the Ondagawa, the Onda River. And it wasn't on my video, but basically the Tsurumi River splits into two. And if you take the right, you keep on riding on along the Tsurumi River, but I decided to take the left this time just because I prefer the left. And this is the Ondagawa River. It's very beautiful. Right now it's the rainy season, so you see these flowers right here. It's called the ajisai. I don't know what it's called in English, but it's characteristic of this time of the year. And for those of you who have been to Kamakura, or you've heard of Kamakura, if you want to see more ajisai, that's where you would go. Very, very famous spot to view ajisai flowers. But occasionally you'll see them along the road on the wild. But like I said earlier, the scenery changes drastically. Just even a kilometer ahead, again we see farms, local farms. But then on the left side, there are residential areas. And this is the kind of scenery that I think a lot of foreign tourists don't really get to see, because it's it's not necessarily in the middle of nowhere, but it's not very accessible, right, to get these areas. And this is why cycling is so great, because you get to go to places that are not really crowded. I mean, everyone, take a look at the scenery. So these are rice plantations, and they've grown quite a lot since the last time I was here. But yeah, it's a beautiful scenery. And this is actually not that very far from Tokyo. Actually, we are going to cross into Tokyo very, very soon, because the river does go through several prefectures. But yes, this is it. This is the view. So right now we are at Machida City, and it is pretty much a residential area. But what you can see here is a lot of very big houses. I mean, larger than the average that you will find in Tokyo. But yeah, it's a beautiful place. I can tell why a lot of people like to live here. It's a very popular area. But yeah, just look at all this green. You don't really see this in Tokyo. And as you just saw there, that was a wildlife photographer. There's quite a lot of wildlife photographers here because, believe it or not, there's actually some wildlife. You can take birds and fish, and I guess that adds to the popularity of this area. It's just so much nature. I mean, maybe that's an over-exaggeration, but I mean, relative speaking, compared to the metropolitan area in Tokyo, I mean, this is a lot more greener. And this is one of the reasons why I like the cycling road, because there's not a lot of people. I mean, I guess it has a lot to do with the pandemic. I'm assuming there is some effect there, but even before the pandemic, I mean, this place is really not that crowded, and it's a Saturday, right? And so, yeah, this is why I like my local bike path. Well, it's not very local anymore because I'm already almost 30 kilometers away from home. But I will eventually make a U-turn very, very soon because the cycling road is actually going to end in like 5K. And this is where I'm going to take a U-turn because the cycling road pretty much ends here, but the river continues. But basically I'm almost 30 kilometers away from home, and this is where I'm going to stop. So now we made our U-turn, and now we are just going back on the same road, but on the other, well, the same river, but now I'm on the other side of the river. And one of the nice things about this is that even though I'm going back on the same route that I came, the scenery is different, right? So you just hop on the other side and basically enjoy a totally different scene. Well, now I just had a protein bar and a gel, and hopefully that will keep me energized for my trip back. And I'm gonna keep myself hydrated in the meantime. I mean, look at this. I mean, these are cherry blossom trees. So you need to come here during the spring because basically there's a tunnel of cherry blossoms in April. I did actually come here during the cherry blossom season, and I think many of you saw the videos that I've uploaded. But unfortunately, I forgot to film this area. And I really should have done this because, again, it's not necessarily a positive note, but because of the pandemic, there are a lot less people on the streets and a lot less tourists, foreign tourists. So filming and riding through this area wouldn't have been too difficult. Again, look at these trees just in the river next to you. Nothing gets better than this. And this curve, right? You can tell the trees. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm just too focused on what I'm watching. Right now we are leaving much of the city and we're going back into Kanagawa Prefecture. Okay, so the cycling road finally opened up a little bit, which means that I can ride a little bit faster, which is great, because just a little bit a while ago I was just riding at maybe 10 kilometers per hour. It's not very fast, or even less than that. But of course, you shouldn't go too fast regardless, right? Because this is not a motorized street, or a street for motorized vehicles. Wow, I guess there is something very peaceful about rice fields. I don't know, they're very simple, but I think it's that simplicity that kind of gives you that kind of sense of peace. Oop, there are 2 ducks there. But yeah, the scenery is just beautiful. Nothing beats this. Alright, so I have 10 more kilometers left until I get back home, and I've been powering it through. Usually I don't try to exceed more than 300 watts on average, but because I got so excited, I've been going over that. So I am getting a little bit tired, but so far I'm okay. So, as I mentioned way earlier in the video, it is rainy season, and right now it's almost 30 degrees, and I don't really know what the humidity level is, but it's pretty hot. So, yeah, cycling in such conditions is not very ideal, and once the rainy season is over, then it gets really hot. Really hot, very humid. So just 2 bottles of water, sorry, can't even speak. 2 bottles of water is actually not enough. So you do have to stop along the way and hydrate. And the way to do that is find convenience stores. And as I mentioned earlier in the video as well, this is one of the popular spots for cherry blossom viewing, and it wasn't as crowded as, let's say, last year because, of course, of the current circumstances. But if any of you get the chance to come here, you should. And for those of you who do not live in Japan, hopefully you can come someday when everything normalizes, and because it's a great place to visit. I mean, I have to admit, I'm not very happy about the over-tourism and the crowdiness, but it is a great place to visit, and I think all of you should have, hopefully you have a chance in the future to do so if you haven't done so. Whoop, kids, be careful. But yes, anyways, another 8 kilometers to go. So by now, you would recognize what building this is. This is Nissan Stadium, which I showed you at the very early parts of this video. And yes, I'm almost home. Although it is bittersweet, right? You get a little bit tired, you want to go home, but you still want to stay outside, enjoy this weather. But actually, I left at around 8 o'clock, and now it's 10:30, and that's one of the merits of cycling in the morning, and then get back home right before lunchish, and you still have the rest of the day to do other stuff, right? Or if you really want to do a longer ride, then you can do that and still manage to get home by dark. Ooh, there's a cycling couple there wearing the same exact jerseys. Unfortunately, my wife does not like cycling, so she would never join me for a ride. Be careful that you don't go too fast. Again, pedestrians have the right of way regardless of where you go. But this is a perfect place to kind of just ride a little bit faster. But always stay on the left side, just in case. Okay, everyone, this is where I'm going to conclude this video. Thank you very much for watching and just listening to me just rambling about just random stuff. But if you did enjoy what you watched, please give a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do, because the bigger the audience, the more motivated I will be to make these videos. I'll try my best to upload more consistently. Okay, thank you very much, and see you in the next one.